So I just got done, checking my Instagram, morning email, all that other stuff, and turns out, tomorrow, truth or dab, Casey Neistat and Marquise Brownlee, cannot wait for that. Although I will admit, those two guys fall under the category of when they first appeared on Hot Ones, I had no idea who they were. Not even a little bit. I mean, again, but that's always a really cool thing about Hot Ones. Actually, it's that like even if it's someone like you have no idea who they are, you get to learn a little bit more about them, albeit in a rather sadistic way, but still really cool. Plus, if I recall correctly, and keep in mind, I had so much of no idea. I think, if I said that right, of who these guys were, that, full disclosure, like, I still don't remember what specifically they do, other than, like, they're both really big internet-related celebrities. Although I do remember, Casey Neistat sort of does videos kind of like, what I do, only on a much, much, much grander scale. So, I gotta get me a budget. Happy hump day, everybody. So I've had a couple of days to sort of think about this because this really has been all over, all over the sports related news, especially if you're a football fan like me, and that is the fact that, Andrew Luck recently retired. Now, full disclosure, I really am. I mean, I've been trying to become a better football fan over the years, but I would still say that there are people who are much better at it than I. So this is just, my observation, what I observed. And, if for whatever reason I get anything wrong, by all means, please, you can't really interject in terms of what I'm saying because this is technically recorded, so, you see me, I can't see you. So, let me know in, the comments if, there's something I said that, I may have gotten wrong, I suppose. So, foremost, around the time that, Peyton Manning, was no longer... This is the rumor that, Peyton Manning was, first going to retire, even though the Colts were simply getting rid of him. I really had no idea, who they were going to replace, and I didn't really care. I'll admit, this is at a time where I really didn't pay that much attention to football, at all. In fact, the only reason why I knew guys like Peyton Manning, or John Elway, or any of those guys were is because, they'd be on, commercials. So, again, I watched a lot of TV, I just didn't really watch a lot of football. So, I mean, the only people I also had no idea who they were, but heard a lot about them were any one of the Dallas Cowboys, and that was because, my father's a Cowboys fan. So, then again, I'm a Cowboys fan too now. So, that's a whole different story. Anyway, so, and you also have to remember, without people like Peyton Manning, the Colts on the whole, really were on the forgettable side. They were. I mean, Peyton Manning didn't bring the Colts back to relevance until they won the Super Bowl against the Bears, which I honestly really thought the Bears were going to win because I remember that Super Bowl all too well, especially the beginning where it was literally a kickoff return for a touchdown. So, and I don't remember all the other details of that game other than, the Colts eventually fought back and won. Peyton Manning finally got, Super Bowl MVP. He finally got himself a championship. And if I'm also not mistaken, Tony Dungy became the first black man who was a coach to ever win the Super Bowl. So, that's pretty cool. There's always that. Although I do see Tony Dungy a lot on, the Sunday night stuff, and I like what he says. Very wise individual. I like that guy. Really like that guy. Especially when, more often than not, he'll pick my Cowboys to win. So, thank you, Tony Dungy. In quite a lot of ways, you are the GOAT. So, So Tony Dungy retires not long after. The Colts go back to the Super Bowl. They lose to the Saints, and then, the manager, I believe his name is Hersey, gets rid of Peyton Manning in favor of Andrew Luck. And I was watching Undisputed when, the other day, and Skip Bayless said at the time exactly what I was thinking of at the time. And that was, getting rid of Peyton Manning may very well be the stupidest thing you ever do. And boy don't get me wrong, again, it's coming from a guy who doesn't really know much about football, but everyone knows who Peyton Manning is, so you're getting rid of Peyton Manning, like the face of a franchise? Like, what are you doing? That'd be like me making videos and I'm not in them. Like, the videos they feature me. I mean, why would I get rid of them? So, yeah, there's that. And so, Andrew Luck comes in, and at the time I really had no idea, who he was. I mean, to be honest, the other person who was drafted that year making a much greater splash was Robert Griffin III, or RG3, for those of you guys who don't know. And believe it or not, Skip Bayless actually did say that he thought RG3 was better than Andrew Luck. And in the beginning, he actually was. Robert Griffin III won the Heisman Trophy. He won Offensive Rookie of the Year that year, went to the playoffs. Like, RG3 had a bright future. But the problem is, like a lot of football players who are great but have to end their careers early, injury bug. He just kept getting injured. And in a lot of ways, Andrew Luck did too, but for different reasons. See, RG3 had the habit of, running all the time, and, when you can't expect to run that much and, not take a few heavy hits. Or in Andrew Luck's case, he had no offensive line at all. The Colts organization wanted to pick up where Peyton Manning left off, so instead of drafting, offensive linemen for Andrew Luck, they got a lot of skill position guys, wide receivers and such, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but without an offensive line to protect Andrew Luck to get to the ball to those skill position guys, it doesn't really do much. So, whereas RG3 would try and, run, through people via, run through people, Andrew Luck would try running over people, and I do feel there is a difference. See, when running through someone, there's a sense of elusiveness, I guess. Like RG3, he was big, but he could also move. He was like a curve through, cut through a lot of people. That's what I mean by run through. Andrew Luck tried to run you over like a freight train, and it took a toll on him. Although I will admit, when I first heard that Andrew Luck and the Colts are going to take on Peyton Manning when he went to the Broncos, I thought, oh, Peyton Manning is going to have his revenge. And in some ways he did. Specifically, Denver's defense completely and utterly destroyed Andrew Luck in that game. In fact, Shannon Sharp pointed out that it was during that game where, that began the downward spiral that was Andrew Luck getting hurt all the time. Yet, surprisingly, Andrew Luck and the Colts won that game. Yeah. In fact, I do believe they beat Denver with Peyton Manning on the team twice. So, in that regard, Andrew Luck did live up to some of what they were saying about him. They were calling Andrew Luck the next John Elway, as he was the highest rated player out of Stanford since John Elway in 1983. I do some research. I mean, thanks to Undisputed and other research I do, that's why I know these things. So, yeah. And now we get into, the game. The game that will more than likely go down in infamy in Andrew Luck's career. And that was the Deflategate game. Now, let's not beat around the bush. The ramifications of what the Patriots did have been talked about forever. They're probably going to continue to be talked about forever. So much so that it completely overshadows one very, very important fact about that game, which is the one thing that everyone really tends to forget. And that is, Andrew Luck played absolutely terrible in that game. I mean, whether or not you inflate or deflate the balls or whatever, the score was like 45-7. Andrew Luck was terrible in that game. Honestly, and that's the thing about Colts quarterbacks in general, I never really thought either Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck to be all that good. I honestly thought that Tom Brady was just better. I mean, again, Tom Brady was more consistent in winning, as well as the fact that, even when people were doubting Tom Brady, I'm like, did you not see what Tom Brady did before? Tom Brady's going to win. Whereas whereas someone like Peyton Manning is like, he's on like commercials all the time. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. But in the postseason, does he really even do much? And that was the one thing, I think that's another reason why people don't really care much for Tom Brady. Tom Brady sort of does keep to himself a lot, which, I will admit I sort of do as well. Try and keep myself out of, the public spotlight so I don't really, so nothing bad happens. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tom Brady's successful is, he knows exactly what he has to do. Whereas guys like Peyton Manning, they don't really, they're in the swing. You still see Peyton Manning in the Nationwide is on your side, like those commercials. So, yeah. And then you have Andrew Luck, who, I'm not going to lie, when I saw him do that retirement speech, he was a broken man. What you saw on that podium was nothing short of a broken man. I mean, he literally pointed out that the joy of playing football was taken out of him. To put this in terms you guys can understand, if the joy was ever taken out of me to make these videos every day, it'd be pretty devastating. What do you do when that happens? And that's exactly what happened with Andrew Luck and playing football. So, yeah, this is pretty serious. And then I should probably also get into the, the thing about what happened that day as well. And that is the fact that, some of the Colts fans were booing him as he was leaving. Now, I look at this in two different ways. No matter what, one thing I am going to stress is that what Colts fans did was nothing short of unacceptable. You don't boo a player who's working his, butt off day in and day out for you. You don't. And the fact he did that is just plain wrong. But another thing that, another thing I have to point out is, I think Colts fans are also, as Skip Bayless actually put it, is booing it. Now, what is it exactly? Well, the it in question refers to the fact, because after last season, the Colts, they were the hot team. They were going to be the next big thing. I mean, they steamrolled over my Cowboys, for goodness sakes. And now you read that Andrew Luck retires? I'd be pretty upset too. But again, there's better ways of going about doing it than booing, the guy who fought day in and day out for you. I mean, this is a guy who hurt his shoulder, hurt his leg, lacerated a kidney. And you still boo the guy. What's wrong with you? I don't know. I mean, some of you guys are probably thinking, well, you've made fun of Tony Romo in the past. Well, yeah, but regardless of what player, and that's another thing I want to stress, whether it's involving the draft or the regular season or anything like that, there are always going to be pundits out there who think so-and-so isn't any good. We all know this. We all see this. That's never going to change. But more often than not, the collective sports community as a whole really wants these athletes to succeed. You know, we want them to do well. We want them to, you know, have a great career. You know, yes, again, there are people out there who make fun of other athletes and don't think they're very good. But more often than not, they don't revel in it. You know, again, I made fun of Tony Romo in the past, but it wasn't like, haha, I'm going to make fun of Tony Romo today. This is going to be great. No, I never did that. In fact, more often than not, I felt really bad if I did afterwards. So, yeah. Take that for what it is. You know, Andrew Luck, if for, on the very slim chance you're watching this, know that, you know, you're a good guy. You know, I hope that, you know, you do live a happy life with your family, and I do believe you have at least one child, so, you know, again, you know, I hope you live a happy life with your family. You know, I hope to hear, you know, good things about you in the future. You know, maybe if you come back to the NFL or not, you know, maybe you do something, you know, philanthropic perhaps. I don't know. But, you know, I hope that, you know, your future's bright for you. That's definitely all I have to say. And I will never, ever say boo to that. So, there you go. Like, favorite, share, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on the social media platforms. Turn on notifications on YouTube. You know, I'm very humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hoping you all have a wonderful, wonderful hump day. And remember, for you guys that want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices. See ya.